Hello, Tim here from GamesNerds.com. Today's review is for The Legend of Grimrock, which is a fantastic game that I think you need to find out some more information about, and that, of course, is the reason why I'm doing this video. Now, before we get into actually talking more about the game and me actually showing you how to play it, I want to go back about 20-odd years ago, 25 years ago, to a game called Dungeon Master. Now, this was a game that originally came out in 1987. You can see here I'm on the Wikipedia page. And it was a game by a company called FTL Games, and it was quite revolutionary at the time. Had really fantastic graphics for the time. And I remember playing this very, very keenly. When I got it, I couldn't believe how much fun it was. And that was around about 1989. Yes, quite some time ago. I'm showing my age. And I remember that was the first game I ever decided to play a game all night. So I went right through the night in my adult life to play a game because it was so gripping. I wanted to get to, as far as I could. So the reason I'm bringing Dungeon Master up, and I just want to show you a few of the other graphics you can see from Dungeon Master. And obviously, going back to 1989, you can see there the graphics on the screen aren't really the best. But 1989, they were very, 1987, 1989, they were very good quality graphics. But I just want to give you a bit of an idea about the graphics as you look on these pages, or this page I should say, because I want to talk to you more about Legend of Grimrock. And the thing about that game is it seems to be a clone of Dungeon Master. Now, Dungeon Master really has got that that aura about it. So many people love the game and they still actually play it today. So I was actually on Twitter today, and someone actually mentioned the particular game, that they loved the music to Legend of Grimrock, so that inspired me to take a look, and lo and behold, it was a Dungeon Master clone. So let's go into and have a look now at Legend of Grimrock. First things first, I want you to listen to the music. The music, I think, is fantastic. I really like the atmospheric sound of the music, and that really got me sort of started and interested straight away. And you can see the graphics on here look much, vastly superior to those graphics I showed you a minute ago of Dungeon Master. The game plays on Windows. It's a Windows only solution, but I'm actually playing this because I've got a Mac. I'm playing this on my using Parallels, which is a software tool to emulate Windows. But let's just start the game, and we'll go through and just get the credits to roll and just show the introduction. So firstly, you've got a choice. If you decide not to, you can get the game to, you can actually go in there and create characters for yourself. Or, as I'm going to do, I'm just going to select the 4 characters that the game suggests you start off with. In addition, it's also got an old school mode where you actually turn off your auto mapping. So if you're one of these people who like to do things manually, as I said here on the screen now, arm yourself with a stack of grid paper and pencils and be prepared to get lost in the dungeons. You can do it yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to show you how the map actually works when we're actually in game. So I'm just going to start the game now. I'm going to leave both these options off, just so you can see the introduction. So that'll be a moment. We'll just go through and watch all of the introduction and get into the game. So basically the story is, as you can see on the screen, there's 4 prisoners. You're actually controlling 4 prisoners. And basically they're going to chuck you in there and absolve your sins, so to speak, against the king. You receive your pardons, but you actually have to make it out alive, and no one else prior to you has actually done that. So that's obviously the challenge, to try and survive. So you literally get thrown in, as you can see on the screen. And you've virtually got just the clothes that you're wearing, and that's literally about it. And you're thrown into the dungeon. And the purpose or your goal is to get out alive. Okay, so here we are. We're actually playing it now, and you can see that we're actually in a dungeon. Now I'm pressing the Q key. You can turn. That's just turning around without actually moving, and you can see that if you look up, you can't see because it's very dark. It's purposely dark because we haven't got a torch. That's where we got thrown in. So there's no other way out. The only way out is forward. So I'm pressing Q to turn left, E to turn right. Standard keys for a lot of games: W forward, S backwards. And I can strafe left with A and strafe right with the D button. Now these characters here on the right hand side, this is actually the order that your party is. So these two people here, I'm clicking on this guy. I'll just click and bring up his stats. I'm not going to, his name's Conta Stone Skull. Now, you can see here you haven't got any weapons or anything, and it actually shows you the pictures of your hands there. So as you get updated and you go through the actual dungeon, you'll find various weapons and so forth to arm yourself with. But at the moment, literally, he's got nothing. You've also got a set of skills. We'll get to those shortly, but this is actually your stats. There's a food allowance, and yes, you do need to find food and eat food, otherwise you will eventually die. Health and energy, those standard things. Strength, dexterity, vitality, willpower. All those things that you would expect in this type of game. Now this is a human fighter. Now again, you can create your characters if you want to at the start. I showed you that option. But these are the 4 default characters that the game will actually give you if you decide not to do that. So basically, the other thing to keep in mind is if someone's attacking you from the front, then the 2 people behind you, behind these front 2 guys, they cannot be involved in melee attacks. So you can see the people at the back will need to have some other form of attack, either a ranged attack with a bow, throwing daggers, something like that, or in the case of this guy in the bottom right hand corner, he's actually a magic user, so we'll be actually casting spells with him. I'm going to show you some of that in a minute. We're going to go through and actually do a real life example showing you. So basically the characters you start off with, fighter, and there's another fighter here which is a minotaur guy, and you've got a little thief or rogue type character, and you've got the magic user. Now you can go up in here, if you click on this little star here, these are your various skills that you actually skill up. This game does level up your characters, and as you're leveling your characters, you can actually decide to put points into these. I'm sure you've probably played a game similar to that, and the more points you put into specific things, the better things you can do, and it does give you an indication on the screen there as to what will happen. And you normally get 4 points per level that you can apply to any one of these skills. So it is a matter of actually deciding which way you're going to do, which sort of spells you're going to start casting. For example, fire magic obviously is using fire predominantly for your attack. You've got to choose that. And likewise for us fighters, they've got different types of skills, but the same process, leveling up. Athletics, armor, axes, maces, so you can specialize in particular weapons. You can focus on vitality and so forth, and getting your strength up, getting more health, so you can survive more. You can even go for an unarmed combat if you want. And for a rogue, likewise, you can actually specialize in some other things like assassination, using daggers, being at the ability to dodge, throwing missiles, which I think is very important, throwing weapons as well, and unarmed combat if you so decide. So what I'm going to do now, that's giving you a very bit of a base overview. I'm just going to move up and just go through a little bit of it, then I'll quickly load into my save game and show you where I'm up to. So let's just go forward. I'm just pressing the W key. Now you can see, as I do that, obviously I can't go any further, so I need to solve the puzzle. And that's what this game is. It's largely about solving puzzles. Often you'll encounter something like a closed door, or something that is stopping you from getting to where you want to go. You've got to figure out how to do it. And you'll often get signs like this on the wall, and you've got to decipher them. No, you don't have to decipher them. All you need to do is press your left mouse button, and you can see there it actually gives you the English interpretation of that particular message. So in this case, choose your fate, perish in a cell, or pick up the torch. It's pretty obvious. The door's closed, so if we pick up the torch, I'm clicking on it, left click. You can see the area has gone dark, and everything's dark around me, and that's because I basically picked up the torch and effectively pushed it out, or put it out. And if I push that and drag it and then just release it into the left hand of the rogue character, she's now effectively carrying the torch. So as we move now, you can see the light is now moving with us because we're now carrying the torch. Your torches do actually run out, so you need to constantly have a backup. Otherwise, you will end up at some point, parts of the dungeon, if there is no lighting, you'll be in the dark, which is not probably a good thing to have. You notice the lighting; it is sort of flickering, as you would expect to see if you're carrying your own torch. And what you can do when you come up to particular areas, you can obviously take that as well. So I can click on that torch. I'm taking that torch, I've taken it out, and if I just throw that and just release it over the head icon of a particular character, that's basically put it in the inventory. And again, clicking on the name, there's the actual item, and it gives you some stats about it. So that's the basics of it, and I'm just going to click on this to open it. You can see I've just pulled that down. It's all about solving puzzles to make your way forward. So that's enough of the basics. I'm going to quickly now load one of my games just to give you a bit of an idea of taking it a little bit further, so it's not going to be too wasteful of your time, and to be able to show you some of the good things that this game has got. So I'm going to go to this one. Now bear in mind that I haven't been playing it for very long, but my characters have got a little bit further, and you can see that I took the default. default characters. Now you can see with the weapons now, we've actually got a bit of armour here. We've got a shield for the fighter and a hand axe. We've got some basic clothing. We're still pretty basic, but we're starting, you know, as we're getting further in the game, obviously you'll get more and more powerful weapons and armour and so forth. And likewise for the Minotaur, he's got some stuff. The Rogue has got a bit of stuff as well. And the other thing, she's got some throwing weapons, some throwing daggers, but also the magic user, he's got this option here. Well, I'll just close that bit down there. And you can actually have a spell. So the spells are actually done with symbols. And the thing is, you will get shown scrolls as you go along, which show you how to do particular things. But by process of elimination, you start realizing what some of these symbols are. For example, this one is basically a firebolt. So I click on that and click on the activate. Basically, in the area that I'm pointing to or looking at forward, ahead of the two melee characters, it's issued an equivalent to like a fireball type spell. And a couple of other spells that I know at this stage. There's a stinking cloud, this poison cloud. That's good if you've got people who are fighting you ahead of you. You're putting that cloud in front of them and they'll be continually taking damage until that cloud actually evaporates. Then the only other spell my character's got at this stage is this is like a poison bolt, if you will. So to do that one, those two symbols there, and instead of doing it in where you saw it in front of me, that one's actually centered. You can see something flying into the distance. So what you can do with the magic user, which I find is useful, is to leave a spell and leave it activated. So if you are in a situation of needing to use something quickly, you can actually click it and start. You've got your first spell done. Because the thing about this is real time. It's not turn based. So you need to be clicking these things as you want, as things are happening in real time. And there's no real option to pause. I think you can actually probably press escape and pause it that way. But you can see when you do that, you lose all your inventory, so you can't actually get yourself ready. The only way to get ready for combat is to be doing it live when things are potentially attacking you. So a good bit of planning is necessary. Because of course, if you think about it, this particular game, you're controlling 4 characters at once instead of just 1 character. And direction is very important as well, because again, these 2 people behind us, as I mentioned earlier, they haven't got the ability to do melee attacks because they're standing behind these other characters. Now I can then move them easy enough. For some reason, if someone was injured, I can quickly swap positions and put him to the back, and then obviously this person here would be getting directly getting potential damage from someone who's attacking us. So let's just go forward a little bit and see if I can show you a little bit, perhaps show you some fighting and so forth. Again, I'm just walking forward, and there's particular spells you need to solve along the way. Now, for example, that looks to me like a little bit of sort of a trap, a little bit of a tile, and if I'm going to activate it, it may open the door. So let's go click on that and see what happens. Now you heard that click. I'm not sure. No, there it has opened. It just took a while to open, and we've got a bad guy following us. Knight. So let's start the attacking. Now you can see when I'm actually fighting, we've actually got quite a few enemies to attack here. We might actually be in trouble. Now I won't go off there. If I go off there now, hopefully it might close the door. And all the while, you see, it's happening in real time. Now these particular guys aren't that fast, which is probably a bonus for us. Now we killed one of them, but we're actually in trouble. We've got lots of guys here. There's probably no real way we can survive this, so we can try and run away a little bit. You can see the graphics are very, very good, very, very powerful. And see, you can actually take advantage of the fact you've got slow opponents sometimes. You can like quickly do that, then move away. They wouldn't normally turn my back to run against them, but I can quickly have an attack. Alright, so I managed to kill one guy. Well, I'll just run past them and I'll see whether I can go back to that room and actually lock myself out of that room. So that'll be interesting to see whether I can do that or not. So let's just have a look. Whoops, to remember where the room is now. It was here. Yeah, it's not going to let me close the door, so you could try and throw something, throw a stone on there. And all the while, those particular enemies, they're quite slow, so they're going to take a while to catch up to us. But obviously, faster enemies, they would have got to us a lot quicker. And here they come now. You can see they're all in unison, which is quite interesting. Alright, we'll go back and see what that other latch was. There's another lever down there. I wonder whether that lever is going to do something for us. Let's open up another area. It'd be nice if we could get in here and close that lever again. And there's a little teleport there. this little area here, if you go into one of those, they teleport you to another part of the dungeon. Now obviously we don't know what part of the dungeon we're in, but it looks like we've escaped them for the time being. In my experience so far, the enemies don't seem to follow the teleport. That may change later on down the track. The other thing I want to show you also is pressing the tab button shows you your map. And obviously the little blue icons you can see there is your current position. So you can go back and see where you've actually been. So it's good to actually look at areas. Like you can see the area just above me hasn't got some brown lines around there. This area here. So clearly that still needs to be mapped out. So I can go back now if I want to. And when you see one of these on the screen, this is an area that allows you to save your progress. And it also sets all your characters back to full health. I'm going to click on that. And basically that's the equivalent of an autosave as well. The other thing is obviously you need to watch out is make sure when your characters are leveling up that you actually do level them up, because it's a manual process. I'll show you how to do that. For our rogue, you can see that's flashing there to indicate that she has leveled up. Now you need to decide where you're going to put her points, and you can see that available skill points are 4. We've got 4 per level. So in the past I've concentrated on throwing weapons because I haven't found her to be very useful yet, other than doing some throwing attacks from behind. So I've been focusing on that, or missile weapons, so that I can throw other things. So basically, again, if I hover over them, it's showing what's going to happen. When we get to 8, we also get we get these other level ability bonuses as well. So I might do that. I might go, and you can see down the bottom it said that I gained health plus 5 because I got to there, and that's now leveling. So that's the process of the game. But look, it's and I stand corrected. These guys did come through the teleport. I hadn't actually seen that before. Very interesting. So there you go. We might be able to now go back. See whether we can go back to the teleport. This is another problem with the teleport. Now, this teleport actually teleports you backwards. So that's the trick that I found with this one is to click on this button here and quickly run backwards. Because what actually happens, and see if these guys are smart enough to figure it out, they'll get continually teleported. They shouldn't be able to get to me. You can see what's happening there, because the teleport is changing them. It's changing their direction again. The only way that I knew that basically was the fact that I had a compass. So one of the compasses was something that I found on the way, and I noticed that that something was changing when I was actually using a particular puzzle. So look, I'm really running out of time here to show you too much more in the way of details, but this is the type of game that it is. This is really, to me, it's very much a clone, if you will, of the original Dungeon Master game. It's absolutely a pile of fun. I do suggest you check it out. It's just one of those games that's it's really going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to really getting through it and finishing as much of the game as I can. But lastly, I just want to go back and just show you. We'll go back to the menu. I'm going to exit this game. I won't save it. I did do that quick save automatically before. The other thing I just wanted to show you also was obviously the website, grimrock.net. You can buy it on their website. It's only $14.99. Again, it's PC only. But I actually got my copy on Steam. So if you do a search on Steam for Legend of Grimrock, I actually bought it. It was actually a 50% off saving. It was only $7.49. So $7.50 for a fantastic game. I think it's fantastic. Check it out. That's Legend of Grimrock. I think you're going to really enjoy it. I'm having a blast with it, and I hope to actually get through and finish the game. Just a couple of other quick things before I finish off, because I know time's ticking on here. Going back into it again, I forgot to actually point this out before. A couple of new things they talk about on their blog they've only just recently added, which, look, I haven't even looked at even once. The custom dungeon and also the dungeon editor, so you can actually edit your own dungeons. Now that is pretty powerful. I'm pretty impressed by that. And presumably when you edit them, you can actually use them yourself. So I haven't looked at that side of it all, but they've only just added that. And what's really impressive when you look at look at this game, which I just exited out by mistake there, is the people involved in it. Let's just quickly go over the credits before I finish it. And check out the names that are coming up, and you'll notice, if it goes on a little bit further, game design and programming is the same guy. So we've got about 3 people there so far. A lot of the stuff seems to be done by the same people. So in other words, it's a small team, and I think they've put together a fantastic game. I'm pretty impressed by this game. It's a lot of fun, so check it out. That's Legend of Grimrock. Thanks for your time, and I'll be back with another review soon. Cheers for now.